Hey Janation, it's your favorite nurse Johnson, and I'm back today with another video. So today's video, we are going to discuss grad school depression as well as graduating as a new grad NP during the height of COVID. So for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Jasmine. I am a registered nurse and a nurse practitioner. I mean, you gotta have one with the other, so that's a given. So I am a nurse practitioner in the state of Texas as well as in the state of New York. And I graduated from my master's program. I guess I can tell you guys what school I went to too, because I never gave y'all that tidbit. So look at us, we just getting all the facts in this video. So I graduated from SUNY Upstate University in Syracuse, New York. I went there for 2 very long years while I lived in upstate New York, and I absolutely hated New York. But my school was okay. I don't want to say it was great, because it wasn't great, and there was definitely things that could have improved throughout our program, but I was a hybrid master's student. What that means is some of my classes were online and some of my classes were in person, which I preferred because originally my intentions were to go to either UTA, which is University of Texas at Arlington, which is where I got my BS in, or I was going to go to Walden. Those are the 2 most known programs down here in Texas. I know Walden is kind of known. But yeah, that was the route that I was planning to go. Since I had already did my RN to BSN program with UTA, I just thought it would make sense for me to use their NP program, since I absolutely loved UTA for my RN to BSN program. I have a whole video on it somewhere. It's years and years old, but I absolutely love UTA's RN to BSN program. If you are looking for an RN to BSN program, definitely take a look at them. I can't vouch for their NP program because, like I said, I went to SUNY Upstate. And yeah, so there's my school reveal, right? I didn't plan on putting that in this video, but hey, it is what it is. The reason why I was not able to attend UTA was because I needed somewhere that I could do clinicals. In the state of New York, at least, I don't want to say in the state of New York, but in the area that I was in, all of the nurse practitioners had, if they were going to be preceptors, it had to be through a upstate-ish or a university somewhere in the area. So I could not go to a college that was in Texas and then find a clinical preceptor in my area of New York. Like I said, I don't want to say all of New York because I can't talk about all of New York. I can only talk about where I was at. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I applied to one school one time. And I was like, if I get into the NP program, I get in. If I don't, I don't. My goal initially was to do aesthetics. I wanted to be an aesthetic nurse practitioner, have like my own clinic, do like Botox, lip fillers, cosmetic things, right? Because my world was cosmetics. Like I love makeup, everything pretty, and that kind of was my goal. And I was like, I could always do cosmetics as an RN, but I wanted to do it as an NP. That's just kind of what I wanted to do. That has vastly changed. I will explain to you guys what I do in another video, but that's not it. And yeah, so I applied to one school and I got in. It was a 2-year program. Like I said, some of my classes were online, but I was also required to go to the school sometimes. We had to do the simulation lab thing. We did our OSCEs at the school. It was intense. It was a very intense program. I had so many times I wanted to quit. It was by far the hardest thing I did education wise. And I'm a fairly smart person. I'm not gonna knock myself when it comes to anything medical or science. When it came to school, when it came to RN school, when it came to my RN to BSN, it was not super hard. I mean, there were things that were hard about it, but I didn't just flat out struggle. In my NP program, baby girl, struggle. There was some classes I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna pass this class. And I'm just being honest. It was so difficult. It was so intense. It was so rigorous. Yeah, it is what it is. It was so difficult. I ended up passing all my classes. And we were not allowed to get anything I want to say less than an 80. So no C, like C's didn't get degrees, if I am recalling correctly, because there was like one class that I passed with an 80 and I was sweating bullets, and it was hard. I graduated in May of 2020, and I want to say my graduation date was May 1st of 2020. I moved back to Texas May 2nd of 2020. Like, I literally graduated and then I left. My family ended up getting stuck in New York because of COVID. My husband was not allowed to move because of military regulations and things like that. So I was down here for about 2 months before they were able to get here, because they got here in July, like right before, wait, was it 2 months? Maybe it was a month, because I think they got here right, almost 2 months, because they got here at the end of June, beginning of July, something like that. So anyway it goes, I was down here, I was working, I was studying for boards. I will link a video up here of, I actually failed boards. Wait, the video should be on this side. So I failed boards the first time. Barely failed, but I failed. And I was distraught. Because it was, I mean, no one wants to fail boards. Not everyone passes the first time, just like not everyone passes NCLEX the first time or their T's. And that's just kind of what happened to me. I failed and I was so distraught. I literally laid in bed for 2 days. I just could not get it together. I was so disappointed in myself that I failed. And that meant it was pushback for getting a job, you know? I was like, I've got this expensive ass degree, because to get your master's is so expensive. Girl, the coinage that it costs for your master's is ridiculous. It was more for my master's than my RN, like my RN, ADN, and my BSN combined. I was like, look, I spent all this money for school and I freaking failed boards. Like, what do I do now? Now I gotta keep working as a freaking registered nurse. Not that that's a bad thing, but in my head at the time, it felt like a bad thing. So, I just continued to work as an RN, and I stayed in COVID ICU, and I then retook boards. I passed, I want to say in September, was the next. I failed in July, and then I retook in September. I did this like remediation course thing, whatever, and then I ended up passing. Like I said, I passed in September. So fast forward, I passed boards. Now I'm applying to jobs. However, we all know during COVID, everyone switched to telehealth. Nurses were not allowed to go to clinicals. Everything was simulation. All of your doctor's appointments were then telehealth or telemed, some kind of voice call. It was like very difficult to get an in-office appointment. They were very far, few and in between. So a lot of people wanted nurse practitioners that had experience. When you are a new grad, you don't have experience. How do I get experience without having a job? So I was literally getting turned down left and right, left and right. I wasn't even getting like interviews. I wasn't getting past the application portion because they were seeing that I was a new grad. There were several companies that contacted me and told me, your resume looks strong. Just right now we're looking for someone who can work from home, and you are a new grad, so it would be difficult for us to have resources to properly train you, things like that. Please contact us back once you get a little bit of experience. And in my head, I'm like, how? How am I gonna get experience if you're like, everyone's basically telling me the same thing? I can't get experience if no one's gonna give me experience. So I am just very distraught at this time. I am sending out applications after applications after applications, and no one's calling me. No one is. I'm getting, like I said, I'm getting a few email responses to let me know why my resume has been rejected or my application has been rejected. But for the most part, no one was calling me. So I got this expensive ass degree, but I'm still working as a registered nurse. And I'm like, I could have just done what I was doing, stayed where I was at, and I would have, like, I would have been good because I'm not progressing. And I took it very hard, and no one talks about that. You know what I'm saying? No one talks about how you feel after grad school, because then I no longer have school to focus my time on. You know what I'm saying? I have literally been a student since I can remember because I did take the long route. So I've constantly been in school. I have never not done work. I did not know what it was going to be like to no longer have something due at 11:59 on Sunday night. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have an MP job. I'm still working in COVID ICU, busting my butt because COVID was not stopping, and it was tough. It was so hard to deal with, going in every day, just knowing what the outcome was going to be. And then I no longer have school to like focus my time on. And I'm like, well, what do I do now? Like, I don't know. I don't know. She doesn't know what to do. And I did not know how to deal with it. And I just saw myself as a failure, and I was embarrassed because, you know, I'm looking at my family who has dealt with me through these last 2 years that I have not been the nicest person to be around because I'm so stinking stressed all the time. You know, there was a lot of stuff that we couldn't do because I had school. There was things that I had to do on the weekends sometimes. Times where I would do clinicals in the morning, and then I would go to work at night. So I would not see my family until the next afternoon because they're already gone to school by the time I go to clinicals. And then I'm like, they go to school, I'm headed to clinicals. And then I worked night shift for 2 years, which was god awful. Oh my God, I do not miss working night shift, even though it's like a give and take because administration isn't there, so whatever. But working night shift is tough. So I would do that because I front loaded a lot of my clinical hours, so that way towards the end of the semester, I could focus just on finals. So I would stack my clinical hours during the week, as many hours as they would let me get, because we didn't have a restriction or a cutoff like saying this many hours this week, this many hours this week. So it was all up to us. You get your clinical instructor or your preceptor, you get your preceptor, and you get to your clinical site, and you just pull however many hours you could do. So there was sometimes where I'm pulling clinical hours like Monday through Friday, 8 or 7 to 5. And I'm like working a full schedule, going to get all my clinical hours done. So that way towards the end, my clinicals was done and I'm only focused on final. So doing that along with still working night shift as a registered nurse, it was tough. And it just took a lot out of me. So I had to put my family through that. And then turn around, I passed boards. I failed boards the first time, then I passed boards, but then now I can't even get an interview. And I can tell you guys this much. If I get an interview, I can almost guarantee that I'm gonna get the job. I have great interview skills. I know, you know, I'm very prepared for interview questions. I'm a good applicant. If it's a job that I'm applying for it for a reason. I'm not necessarily a person that just applies any and everywhere. I got like that towards the end, and I'm gonna tell y'all about that. But usually I'm not a person that just applies because there's a job opening. I have to see it's a good fit, and I try to make sure that it's somewhere I feel like I would fit. I don't try to necessarily just apply because there's an opening. But once I started getting a little desperate, I was like, y'all want me to work at an all men's clinic? Applied. Y'all want me to work a pediatric urgent care? Applied. Like, I was just applying to any and every post that would come up saying a new nurse practitioner post in your area. I applied everywhere, and I kept getting turned down and turned down and turned down. And I just started to crumble because, like I said, you start to feel like a failure. And I know a lot of people can be like, see, the nurse practitioner market is so oversaturated, and that's why I'm not going to NP school. Everybody wants to be an NP. It's not that. The jobs are out there. They're out there and they're plentiful. But a lot of them want experience, and a lot of them want you to be able to work in office and work telemed, because that's just where the healthcare field is going. There are some places that want you to be able to do telehealth in office and then do some house visits. That's just what it's becoming. And when you are a new grad and you graduate during freaking a pandemic, nobody wants to give you a chance, because who's going to properly educate you? It's like being a new nurse. It's like being a new registered nurse. When you come in, you know the textbook stuff, but do you really know how to be an ICU nurse fresh out of nursing school? No. You get your orientation process, you get however many weeks, and they teach you how to do the job. And the same thing goes when you're a nurse practitioner. They bring you in, they expect you to know how to diagnose and what medications are appropriate to prescribe, and if you don't know, what resources to utilize or who to contact. But if they want you to do telehealth, you don't have that option. And that's what a lot of companies wanted at the time, and I could not provide that as a candidate, and I just felt like a big old failure. Was it in my control? Absolutely not. But that's just kind of what happened, and I was so frustrated, and I did not know how to handle it. I did not know how to handle not being in school anymore. I actually contemplated re-enrolling in school just so I can be like, okay, well, if I go and get my doctorates, then I'll look better on paper, and then maybe someone will give me a chance. Or F it, maybe I'll just go to freaking med school, which that ain't happening. But I just had all of these things going because I no longer had school to rely on, and I also didn't have an MP job, and I was still where I was 2 years prior, and I felt horrible. I felt so bad, and it's okay. Now I realize it's okay. Things don't happen, you know, in this field, we want them to happen how we want them to happen. And I honestly thought that it was going to be the same way as when I was a nurse. You know what I'm saying? Every RN position that I've applied to, I've gotten it. I've never applied to a registered nurse position that I've not gotten. I've worked in ICU ever since I have graduated nursing school. If I wanted to be somewhere, it was, I don't want to say it was easy for me to get those positions, but I didn't have to try hard to get those positions. And I expected the same thing as an MP. I was like, okay, well, I'll be done with school, but I'm gonna be a nurse practitioner. I'm gonna be a provider. And then COVID was like, sis, think again. You are gonna work almost another 6 months before you get your first position. And it was a very humbling moment. But it just broke me. I was so sad, and I did not know what to do. And I never lie. Like when people are like, oh, are you working as, you know, because like I said, I was very active on my Instagram story, and people are like, oh, are you working in the ICU as a nurse practitioner? No, I'm not. I'm working in ICU as an RN still. You know, it is what it is. And I would never lie. I would tell people, if people would ask me about boards, I'd be like, look, I failed the first time. I'm gonna be honest with you. I failed. I let them know what I did to prepare the second time that I took it, but I would be honest, like, nope, sure didn't pass, child, nope. She sure didn't. And I can laugh about it now, but like I said, in that moment, it was such a dark moment when it came to my career, because it was the first time I felt like I didn't excel in my area and I wasn't succeeding in my area, and I did not know how to take it. And I was just like, I don't have school anymore. I've been going to school for as long as I can remember, and I don't know what to do. Like, I didn't know what to do. So fortunately, I had applied to a job that I didn't even remember applying to. I got a call from the director of nursing, who was putting together like a medical team and of a new facility. She called me and was like, hey, I want to bring you out for an interview. And I was like, I'm gonna be there. What's the address? So when she gave me the address, because she said the name of the company so fast that I didn't catch it, and I didn't want to make her repeat herself. So I was like, yes, please, if you can email me the information. I confirmed the time. Please email me the the address and I'll be there. Then, you know, you go home and do a little research. And I was like, oh my God, I don't even remember applying to this position. I don't even know how I got picked, honestly, to be interviewed for the position. I was actually not even going to answer the phone, to be honest with you, because I didn't recognize the number, and I was just, at that point, I was just so over it. I was over people rejecting me, but something told me to just answer this number. I was in the middle of a work day, so I'm like getting out of all of my PPE, and I'm like, hello. And yeah, so I got an interview for this job. I went out there, I met with them. Everyone was fantastic. Everyone was so nice, and to be given the opportunity as a new grad, I was all for it. So then I did the onboarding stuff, of course, which takes literally forever as a nurse practitioner. Oh my gosh. And I started working as a nurse practitioner. I started off as a contract position, and then it progressed into a salary position, and I have been enjoying what I do for a very long time. It is very, very different than what I ever imagined myself doing. When you guys find out, which I'm not gonna tell in this video, you gotta wait, you gotta subscribe, you gotta come back for more. You gotta wait, you gotta subscribe, you gotta come back when I tell you. Because, you know, I can't give it all to you in one video. Come on now. It's not what we do. But yeah, it's completely different. It's gonna catch you guys so off guard, because it caught me off guard, but I absolutely love what I do. And yeah, I can be more thrilled to be where I am right now. I'm doing good. I'm happy with where I am. It takes me every single day to try to be positive. It's not like I was just sad and depressed and then one day I was magically happy. Like, no, it's a process. You have to actively work at it every single day, and that's what I do. I choose to try to work on myself every single day in order to keep myself from getting that deep into a hole. And I try to climb out every single day, and that's just what you got to do. Be prepared for it, because like I said, once you've been in school for so long and you're no longer in school, it is a shock. It is a big shock, and it's a big adjustment. And especially if the career path that you chose does not land you a job immediately, it can take a real bad turn. And it's okay. It's okay. We'll get through it. You'll get through it. I got through it. It'll just take some time. Those of you who are like me, who want instant gratification when it comes to your career, we're not in control of that. Things happen the way they're supposed to happen. There could have been many jobs that I thought would have been appropriate for me, and I could be there right now and I could be miserable. And the area that I'm working in now, I have a great team. I love the population that I work with, and I'm very happy where I'm at, and I'm very happy doing what I do, and I can't wait to share that with you guys. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you subscribe, make sure you stick around, and that'll probably be, no, I'll probably do a vlog, and then, no, what should I do? You guys let me know what you want. Do you want a day in the life as a nurse practitioner, or do you want what I do first? I think it would make more sense for me to tell you guys what population I work with first, and then let you follow me around, because then it might make more sense. But y'all let me know what y'all want to see. Either way, it'll be either that video and then a day in the life, or we'll see. We'll do what we can do. Okay. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to me babble for however long this video is, because it's a pretty long one. But I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for welcoming me back. Please stick around. I promise I'm going to try to get better. I promise I'm going to try to get more consistent. And make sure to go follow me over on the gram. I'll leave that link below. And until the next video, I'll talk to all you huns later. Bye. Mwah.